What's up, guys? It's Benny. The culture war is aptly named because, well, it is a war between two sides. One side is pagan and secular, and the other side is traditional and more religious. And those sides have been fighting for a very, very long time. One side gets the upper hand and is on the advance, and the other side then retreats. And back and forth we go. It does feel like the more traditional side of things has been on the retreat for a long time, and that secularism and paganism has all but taken over our society. Yet there was a marked sea change in this election, where Americans said they'd had enough of that. And perhaps it's time to roll things back a little bit and to reset the tables. This is, in fact, a massive cultural change and a massive cultural moment, and you'd have to be blind or numb to not feel it or see it. If you need an example, I'll give it to you. We're halfway through Pride Month. Remember, we only get a day for Veterans Day. We get a day for Memorial Day. We get a day for Thanksgiving or Christmas. But we have a Pride Month in this country. Well, Bud Light missed the memo. Bud Light has yet to do the cringe vomit of the rainbow flag logo into your face as the virtue signal as a corporation. In fact, we went and checked. This is just a very small handful of thousands of logos, corporations, who were used as propaganda props by activists in order to shove agenda down our throats. I mean, I don't know what Pride Month has to do with American Airlines or Paramount, HP. I mean, Apple I can kind of understand. But the point is that you remember this, right? It wasn't too long ago that you get massive logo changes like this, and of course it was vomited and shoved down your throat and across all social media. And now it turns out that those are gone.
Remember when everybody changed their logo for Pride Month? You don't even have to think back too far. 2024 this was happening. Well, I'm recording this on June 1st, and almost no company has changed their logo to Pride colors. Massive companies that used to do this every single June 1st, like IBM, HP, Target, Apple, BMW. I could go on and on and on, but these companies have not changed their logo. Now, maybe that changes tomorrow. Maybe the social media
doesn't. And
coordinators have taken June 1st off, but they didn't miss June 1st in the past when it was on a weekend. Even Vogue hasn't changed their logo.
So it goes on to say the only section of society that has done this the cringe logo change, was Major League Baseball and some sports teams. But even that needs a little bit of an adjustment because members of these sports teams, like the LA Dodgers, who are forced to wear the Pride logo, decided to write Bible verses. Genesis 12:16. Let's go ahead and look. Who is this individual? It's star pitcher Clayton Kershaw. And what did he write? This is the sign of the covenant that I am making between me and every living creature, you, the covenant of generations to come. I have set the rainbow in the clouds. It will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Of course, the covenant of Noah. Well. How based. Also based, ladies and gentlemen, historic numbers of corporate sponsors have pulled back from Pride Month. Organizers face uncertain future. Now, some of the biggest Pride Month organizers are forced to beg for cash donations because corporations have fled. Of course, you could argue that corporations should have never been part of this. You don't see a ton of corporate sponsors at MAGA rallies. This is a radical and aggressive, agenda-driven, politicized worldview, right? And why does it have so much corporate sponsorship? You should ask yourself. Like zooming completely out, right? Leaving the Pride Month issue out entirely. What benefit is it to corporations to get involved in these divisive cultural issues? Like, isn't it your job to fly airplanes or make computers or to be a bank? Like, what does that have to do with like the minutia of culture and the shifting grounds of culture? In fact, if you try and catch that lightning in a bottle, you're always going to get burned. It doesn't matter what like era it is. It's actually best for you to just go make your widget or doodad or knickknack and shut up Because like nobody needs to hear what like Walmart or Target thinks about these things. Like that's not why we're there, obviously. New York's annual Pride Parade, high-profile annual alphabet gathering, the U.S. is looking for individual cash donations as corporate sponsors flee. Organizers blame Donald Trump, rejection of woke diversity, equity, and inclusion policies in government that had spread to the private sector like a cancer. NYC's Pride spokesperson Kevin Kilbrey confirmed that the parade will be held on June 29th. According to organizers, it could draw many as 2 million attendees, but cash is needed now, so up to 25% of the previous corporate donors have fled. Yikes. New corporate sponsors retreat from New York Pride. 25% of the corporate donors in New York Pride have canceled or scaled back their support. Oh boy. The vast majority of what we have heard is folks are treading carefully from an economic perspective. Well, yeah, maybe it's just like a bad, like maybe investing in divisive political issues is bad policy. I've said this a million times. I'll say it again. The answer to Bud Light putting Dylan Mulvaney on a can is not to put Donald Trump on a can, right? Like it's not doing the exact opposite. I mean, if I were like advising them, would I like Donald Trump on a beer can? Yeah, I think it'd be freaking cool. But the point is that like the answer was to not get involved in the divisive politics anyway. You create piss water beer. That's all you do. Why are you engaging in this? You're going to piss off at least half your customers. And as we know, about a third of Bud Light customers have now fled the brand and will never, ever touch it again. Why would you do that? Although, you could try and put Trump on a can. Why not? Far more deserving than Dylan Mulvaney. Alphabet Pride is seeing mass exodus as advertisers and sponsors. San Francisco Pride lost $200,000. Idaho Pride event lost $400,000 and had to cancel. NYC Pride event lost 25% of its supporters, short nearly $1 million. Utah Pride lost $400,000. Virginia biggest Pride Fest lost 2 major sponsors. Columbus, Ohio Pride lost $125,000. Pride is going broke. Well, would you look at that? Again, I could argue that it's just good business. You don't have to like particularly make or take a stance on this. It's just divisive political issues should have no place in corporate America, obviously, right? Yeah. They say they've lost a ton of money, nearly $1 million. $750,000 to hold a parade. Where's all the money go to? Fundraising shift as New York Pride. Trump scares away corporate sponsors. The Alphabet Gathering is ramping up efforts to raise funds from individual members. Wow, you'll have to pay for your own parade like, I don't know, veterans do, right? I don't know. Like, there's plenty of groups, I guess, that have to pay for their own parade. And parade pay for it. Like the idea that you're entitled to taxpayer dollars or to corporate dollars, like lavish millions of dollars of corporate spending, is insane. That's certainly not the way that like MAGA thinks. It's not the way that like I think about like the issue, these issues that I care about. Oh, every corporation needs to immediately back me and like give me a logo and then give us a bunch of knickknacks and then lavish us with cash. I mean, there's a ton of issues that I believe in, and that I'm not a single one of them do I have the instinct that that's the case, that I'm entitled to that. We're starting to see a turning point in America. Common sense is starting to prevail. New York annual Pride Parade, highest profile alphabet gathering in the U.S., is looking for individual cash donations as corporate sponsors flee. What are you saying? MasterCard is not renewing. PepsiCo, Nissan, and Citi will not sponsor this year, just some of them. 20% of corporate sponsors have stopped altogether. 1 in 5 have pulled support. Corporate support for Pride is collapsing. According to Slate, Hampton Roads Pride in Virginia had cut spending 20% due to a huge drop in corporate backing. Drop is 40%, and so on and so on. In Long Beach, Americans are tired of paying for this. What started as equal rights turned into fly the flag, pledge allegiance, or else, and now there's massive backlash going on. Yeah. Sponsors like Budweiser are bailing. I wonder why. Right? You just got to wonder why. Don't ever agree with Robert Reich, but I sure do here. Dozens of companies who sponsored Pride marches in the years have pulled out, including Dyson, Nivea, Tiffany's, Capital One, UPS, Disney, DoorDash, Live Nation, Nissan City. Corporate pride was always a hoax. Yep, correct. It was always just virtue signaling. Also, just in time for Pride Month, virtue signaling, Jojo Siwa, who was the poster child for alphabet kids and their parents, their words, not mine, with her positive, colorful, and candy-filled brand, entrancing millions of youths who created something called gay pop, her words, not mine, has come out as straight. Pride Month down bad, dude. Jojo Siwa is living in a happy relationship with her boyfriend now. And she says that what happened here was she was publicly pressured by the alphabet community to come out as a lesbian. Let me read you the exact quote. When I came out at 17, I said I was pansexual, but I kind of boxed myself in. I said now I'm a lesbian. And I think I did that because of pressure. In a weird way, it came from inside of the alphabet community. From people that I know, partners I've had. You just get put in this weird space where you're like, oh, I'm a lesbian. And you have to be a lesbian. The truth is that sexuality is... Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, a Pride Month to remember.